Attention, Kmart shoppers. Now take a moment and think back. When was the last time you actually stepped foot into a Kmart? Odds are it wasn't exactly a memorable experience. Or more likely, it happened so long ago that you'd need a time machine just to get there again. For many people, Kmart used to be the place to shop. And that iconic phrase, "Attention Kmart shoppers," it meant something. Attention Kmart shoppers wasn't just a slogan. It was tied to something called the Blue Light Special, a quirky, brilliant marketing move for its time. Randomly, while you were browsing, a spinning blue police-style light would flash, and an employee would announce a sudden discount on a particular product. People would linger around the store just waiting for the next surprise deal. It kept customers inside longer, gave Kmart the chance to unload slow-moving stock, and kept their name planted firmly in the public's mind. Honestly, it was a genius strategy, and it worked. But that was then. Nobody's hanging around Kmart anymore waiting for a blue light to go off. Actually, do they even do the blue light special now? You don't know. And that says it all. Kmart used to be number 2 in the retail world. Everyone's back up to Walmart. Now, it's a ghost of its former self. So, what happened? The roots of Kmart trace back to a man named Sebastian S. Kresge. At the tail end of the 1800s, he opened stores selling basic goods for just 5 or 10 cents. Super cheap, even back then. His chain was called Kresge. But it wasn't until 1962 that the very first Kmart store opened its doors, in Garden City, Michigan. Funny enough, that very first Kmart closed in 2017. Jack Kettler, the chairman of the Garden City Historical Commission, wasn't shocked when it shut down. He admits he hadn't shopped there in years. "The quality changed," he said. "I can't remember the last thing I bought there." Despite that early store's demise, the Kmart brand spread rapidly. By 1977, it was responsible for almost the entire Kresge company's profits. That success prompted the company to officially rebrand as the Kmart Corporation. By the end of the 1980s, all that remained were Kmart stores. No more Kresge signs. In 1990, the red K logo that many of us recognize today became the new face of the company. Soon, Kmart launched even bigger store formats, Super Kmarts and Big Kmarts. They were expanding aggressively. And not just with stores, they were buying up other businesses too. In 1990, they purchased the Sports Authority and took a 22% stake in OfficeMax. By 1991, they increased their hold on OfficeMax to 90%. Then, in 1992, they snapped up Borders bookstores. But by 1995, most of these investments were gone, sold off. And then, the fall began. In 2002, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, reorganization, not liquidation. In 2004, they re-emerged as Kmart Holdings Corporation and then pulled a surprising move. They bought Sears. Despite being the weaker brand at the time, Kmart was the buyer in this merger. But the new parent company took the name Sears Holdings Corporation. The headquarters shifted to Hoffman Estates, Illinois. It's worth noting that just a decade earlier, Kmart and Sears were the 2 biggest retailers in America. The fact that they were allowed to merge without antitrust interference shows just how much both had declined by 2004. That decline was visible everywhere, including in their logo. Take a look at this. It's the new Kmart logo introduced after the merger. It's been around for over a decade. But the truth is, the old logo is the one that sticks in people's minds. Doesn't that say everything? Let's move to the numbers. I get it. Balance sheets and SEC filings don't sound exciting. But trust me, I've pulled out the good stuff. This data tells a story. Kmart was struggling before the merger. That's obvious. The bankruptcy proved that. But surprisingly, the real damage came after the merger. Let's zoom in on 2006. That's when the Sears-Kmart combo was in full effect, and we start to see what went wrong. Here's a chart of how many Kmart stores existed from 2006 to now. Spoiler alert, It's a steep decline. The number of stores got chopped in half. And naturally, revenue followed the same path. Each year brought in less and less. And get this, it's not just that they had fewer stores. Each individual store was making less money too. That's the real problem. It's a double hit. Fewer locations, lower sales per location. That's 11 straight years of contraction. Let's throw in 1999 for comparison. In just 7 years, from 1999 to 2006, Kmart's performance had already plummeted. And then from 2006 to today, it collapsed even further. You don't need a finance degree to see what's happening here, but if you do have one, you'll enjoy this next part. Let's talk about the debt-to-equity ratio. For those not familiar, debt-to-equity is a simple ratio. It compares how much a company owes, debt, to how much it owns, equity. Think of it like this. If you sold everything you own to pay off what you owe, what would be left? If you've ever watched Shark Tank, this is something every investor looks at. High debt and low equity equals risky business. In most industries, you want this number to be under 2. So how did Sears Holdings, Kmart included, perform? Up until 2010, not terrible. But then things went south. From 2010 onward, the debt-to-equity ratio started climbing. Fast. It hit 7.4. That's a red flag big enough to see from space. And then it went negative. Yep, negative equity. That means if Kmart liquidated everything, it still couldn't cover what it owes. That's financial disaster territory. Think about that. If your job was to approve loans and you saw that Kmart couldn't even pay off its existing loans, would you ever give them a new one? Now compare this to Walmart and Target. Kmart's own annual report names those two as their main competition, so it's only fair. When you stack up the debt-to-equity ratios, Walmart and Target are in similar ranges. Kmart, on the other hand, is floating in outer space, and we haven't even touched net income yet. Since 2011, their net income has been negative every single year. That's over a decade of losses. We've gotten so used to hearing headlines like Kmart reports losses for 7th consecutive year that we almost don't react anymore. But we should. This isn't just bad news. It's the type of thing that guarantees the end of a company. Straight from their SEC filing, our historical operating results raise substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. That's legal talk for, we're not sure we can survive, we've crunched the numbers, we've walked through the history. Now let's answer the question for real. What really happened to Kmart? Simple. People stopped wanting to shop there. Back in the day, if you needed sugar or flour, you'd dash to Kmart. If you needed a TV or a couch, same answer. Today it's different. For groceries, we hit Walmart or the local supermarket. For electronics, there's Best Buy or Amazon. Yes, the internet crushed a lot of physical retail, but people still shop in stores, just not Kmart. And why is that? Because walking into a Kmart feels like entering a forgotten decade. The stores haven't been renovated in years. The lighting, the layout, even the smell. It's like 1994 never ended. And unfortunately, they don't have the money to fix it. They spent decades acquiring other companies instead of investing in their own stores. And while they were busy chasing new markets, they lost sight of their customers. Let's talk tech. Their registers are ancient, no touchscreen. Tiny green monochrome displays that look like they belong in a museum. They're slow, and as a result, checkout lines drag on. And who's working these checkouts? No offense to anyone employed there, but here's a tough truth. If someone works at Walmart or Target and gets offered a job at Kmart, do they take it? Probably not. Why? Because Kmart can't afford to pay competitively. This doesn't just affect frontline workers, it stretches up to management and beyond. What high-level executive would leave a stable job at Target to take a risk on Kmart? They'd have to be offered a huge salary. And guess what? Kmart can't afford that either. It's a downward spiral. Not the root of the problem, but one that keeps making it worse. So what does Kmart have to offer? Seriously, what makes them stand out? Prices? Not especially low. Experience? worse than most stores. Customer service, hit or miss. They do have some exclusive lines, like the Martha Stewart collection, but even that's not enough of a draw. You'd need to be a huge Martha Stewart fan to make a special trip. Kmart's fatal mistake? They stopped putting the customer first, and in return, the customer walked away. In 1990, Walmart overtook Kmart to become the second largest retailer. Over the following decades, it wasn't even close. Walmart soared. Kmart stumbled. I remember shopping at Kmart as a kid. It wasn't magical. It wasn't awful. It was just a place to get stuff. Some people have fond memories, especially of the blue light specials. But even those die-hard fans have moved on. The Kmart they loved doesn't exist anymore. And honestly, it probably won't for much longer. There's a line from Kmart's 2006 annual report that really sticks. Our success depends on our ability to distinguish ourselves from our competitors in terms of convenience, product selection, and superior customer service. That was their mission. Somewhere along the way, they lost it.